Yeah, the title came really late in the game, actually. I did not set out to write a book about John Wayne, but
Yeah.
I'm still kind of surprised I did. And of course, the book isn't really about John Wayne. But where this started was years ago when I first encountered this literature on Christian masculinity. I did actually because it was my students. I just lectured on Teddy Roosevelt in a U.S. history class, and I thought it was this great way to show them. I was like a first or second year prof at the time, and I thought, okay, U.S. history survey, but let me show you how gender works. I'm a historian of gender, and so, Teddy Roosevelt is this great example of masculinity and changes in masculinity and how that can be linked to foreign policy, to American empire, to race and nation. And it's just this great little lesson. And after class, a couple of students came up to me and said, Professor Du Mez, there's this book you need to read. And it was John Eldridge's Wild at Heart. And Eldridge, I don't know if you remember, but he opens his book with a quote from Teddy Roosevelt and goes on
Nice.
to sketch this very militant conception of Christian manhood that is very reminiscent of Roosevelt's muscular Christianity.
I
So,
like that
anyways,
your students were like, if that's what you think, read this.
well, exactly. So it goes way back to that point. So and now I got distracted going back to that class 15 years ago. So I don't remember where what your question was that you're trying to pull me towards.
Just about John Wayne and how
Oh yeah,
you
John
landed
Wayne,
on
of
John
course, of
Wayne.
course.
Yeah.
So anyway, I read this stuff. I read Eldridge, and by that point, this was 2005 or 2006, and there's Eldridge was already selling millions of copies, and
Hmm.
so there's this cottage industry of other books that were just like Eldridge, like literally like using the same cast of characters.
Yeah.
And what I noticed from reading these books is, these are written by evangelicals, and evangelicals love to self-identify as Bible believing Christians. But the Bible really wasn't at the center of these books at all. A few proof texts here or there, but really they were looking to Hollywood heroes, to mythical warriors, to mythical soldiers, real soldiers of mythical status, General Patton, General MacArthur, and William Wallace from the movie Braveheart.
Hmm.
A huge favorite.
Which,
I believe
which,
you
by
saw
the
it.
way,
Yes.
yeah, I did my senior project on William Wallace. That's a fact. And I wonder where that came from.
And how he's a great
Exactly,
picture of
exactly.
Jesus.
I mean, right. This just permeated the culture. This
So far, we're
was
2 for 2.
Yeah.
I wrote a
I
book on
know.
Wild at Heart. You did
I
a
did,
project
yeah,
on
I did a project on William
Braveheart.
Wallace because I'm a
Exactly.
good Christian.
You know what I'm talking about. And if I could have fit William Wallace, it's not William Wallace though, right? It's Mel Gibson's William Wallace from the movie
Right.
Braveheart, and that was just too much to fit into the title.
Right.
But also, I was really surprised to see John Wayne kept popping up. I
Yeah.
was like, really, John Wayne, really? But if you know anything about John Wayne, he's a symbol. He's a symbol of this retrograde, quote unquote, traditional masculinity. Thumbs his nose at feminism, at civil rights, at the anti-war movement, like all of these things that evangelicals stood against. He was a symbol for this, and that's why they kept coming back to him. So that Eric Metaxas can write in his introduction to his book on Christian manhood. We all know that John Wayne is the icon of American masculinity, right? And then therefore Christian masculinity. Like we all know this is a given. And so it was really to point to this cultural model, not biblical so much, but the cultural influence, and a kind of secular masculinity that went on to inspire this quote unquote Christian masculinity, which then ends up really, I mean, according to my subtitle, corrupting the faith itself, because it changes the Jesus of the Gospels into Mel Gibson's William Wallace, John Wayne type warrior Christ. And so that's the significance of the John Wayne, and it points to the cultural influence, the secular influence, and ultimately the corruption of the faith.